What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Scotty Travels channel. If you're new here, I am an American that lives in the beautiful country of Australia, more specifically Brisbane City, as you can see back there. And today I just want to get into the things that, like how Australia has changed me. I've been here 7 months now. If you watched the last video, you know I'm recording this after that one, and you guys can probably see a lot of change in me in that video in and of itself. And so, yeah, we're going to talk about the ways that I've changed and how Australia has changed me for the better. The first one is kind of silly, but it's the way I speak. I don't know if I've necessarily picked up an accent. Maybe. I spent a lot of time with my brother-in-law, and he is Australian, originally from New Zealand, so I kind of have picked up his cadence. But it's more the things that I say. Like, I've realized that I say cheers now. Like, if I get a drink, or even if I'm just grabbing something from the gas station and the transaction finishes, and normally you'd say oh, thank you, but I go oh, cheers. I don't say ta. People here say ta. I think that's more of a feminine thing. Tomato. Sometimes I've given up and I just say tomato because it's easier. It feels weird when you sound so drastically different when you say certain words, like tomato. And so when I get a meat pie and they go, do you want any sauce? Now I just say, yes, I'd like a tomato sauce. I don't know. I guess that's me trying to fit in or assimilate or whatever. But yeah, it's something that's changed. It's the way I speak. It's the yeah, nah, yeah. Australia is very casual and has its own slang dialect that in and of itself should have a dictionary, and I'm slowly picking it up. I'm slowly picking up what different things mean, calling the bathroom a toilet. Sometimes I have to, I had to go get propane yesterday and I had to call it gas, but it's gas in America is petrol, but gas here is petrol, so it was I need you to fill up the gas tank. And I was you need petrol, and they were no, I need gas, and I'm yeah, petrol, and then it's no, for the barbecue, and I was oh, propane, and they're what's that? So that's a thing. But yeah, I'd say that's one thing, is the way I speak has changed. The other thing I've noticed is my general attitude, I feel has changed. I'm trying to find a comfortable way to sit in this chair. I feel I'm a lot more laid back and cash now. Also, I feel I've adjusted to Australia pretty well. I was really homesick, even just a month and a half ago. I had a really, really intense homesickness, and it feels like you're sick. It feels this gut. It's a mix of nostalgia and missing somebody. It almost feels like a breakup, kind of. And I got through that, and now I feel pretty well adjusted. I've gotten used to going to Woolworths and seeing brands that I'm not used to, but now I am used to. I've gotten used to not being able to get certain things that I can get back home. I guess that's why it means so much, being able to go to Costco or Easy Mart here in downtown and getting a Dr. Pepper or something that it's not really common to get here. But yeah, other than that, I feel I've adjusted pretty well, and I feel it's made me a little more cash. I'm already a pretty cash guy, I wear Hawaiian shirts and shorts all the time, but I feel now it's even more Australia is very much a no worries. That should just be the slogan for Australia. It's yeah, no worries, mate. That's, that's just the way it is here. And I feel I've adjusted to that pretty well. Service is slow here, and that still drives me crazy. Still drives me absolutely insane. Please, for the love of God, why am I waiting 20 minutes for a coffee? But other than that, maybe I haven't. Maybe I'm not as cash as I thought. But yeah, I feel I'm starting to become Australian. I'll never be Australian, and you guys some of you have made that very clear. But I feel I can see I'm assimilating. I feel if I actually went back to the U.S. today, I would be more culture shocked than I was when I got here. I think I'd be oh my God, I forgot about this, and this. But yeah, so that's another way I've changed, is just being a little more cash, being a little more adjusted to the culture here. Another thing that I feel has changed quite a bit is the way that I see America and how I see it from an international perspective. I think when you're in America, it's America, and things happening in around the world don't really matter as much. I feel like I was pretty, I guess I would say cultured. Like I knew, for the most part what was going on, but it was very like America centric. Like if you like, I have a VPN, and if I set my VPN, which by the way, shout out to NordVPN, if I set my VPN to America, the news is literally all just like, Trump and America and this person, this crash in America. And then if I set my news to Australia, it's a little bit America, a little bit Australia, a little bit, international. Like it's not just so isolated in one country. And I feel like because of that, I've kind of, realized like more of what's going on internationally, and I feel more a part of the international community. I feel like it sounds weird, and it feels weird for me to say, but like there's kind of like America and then everybody else when you're American. And now I've become part of the everybody else. So, like while I guess I'm not Australian, as I assimilate more here, I feel more in tune with somebody who's like German or English, or especially English, or French or whatever, because we're all in the same boat of like we don't live in America, but what happens in America affects the rest of the world, including us, but we're not in America, and it's interesting. It's interesting to like have this perspective and to see like, international news, like just to see like Australia's newspapers reporting on what's happening in America. Yeah, obviously there's a lot happening in America right now, so I won't touch any of that. But yeah, it's just interesting. It's interesting having this like world perspective on what's happening. So that's something else that's changed quite a bit. And lastly, or at least lastly, I'll say in this video, I feel like the one big thing that's changed is I've realized how much American companies are like screwing over its employees. When I got hired at this job, they sent me the Australian Fair Works policies. It's kind of like if you work in America, on the wall you'll see like, oh, these are your rights as an employee, and they sent me that. And as an employee, I'm entitled to, I think, a minimum of 11% superannuation, which is a retirement fund that's basically like government run, but you're like legally, if you could work at 7-Eleven up to the ANZ Bank. And no matter what, they have to put at least 11% of your income into your superannuation, which is basically an IRA. It's a tax-free retirement fund that you get to touch when you're 59 and a half. And so basically, again, you could work at 7-Eleven for 50 years, and 11% of your income will have been saved into this account and will be accruing interest and making money. And so people here, especially like millennials now, like people that are going to retire in 10 or 20 years, are all going to retire with a decent chunk of change, and you don't have to like sacrifice it out of your salary because it's on top of your salary and it's mandated. Like companies don't have a choice, they have to pay it. Being able to get like minimum if you work a full-time job and it's not a casual job, you get 4 weeks paid time off a year. 4 weeks. As an American, that feels so foreign to me, that you could get an entire month off paid. I got a week, you guys, a week. I got a week time off at my last job, and that wasn't even including sick time. You get 4 days, I think, for 4 weeks paid time off, and I think you get like 10 days sick time here. So like you don't even have to touch your paid time off if you get sick. It's just stuff like that really makes you realize, like, man, like, what are we doing? Like, America has all this money, and these companies are so big, and they can afford to do this, but they just don't. And we're so used to it as Americans that we go, yeah, that's just how it is. Like, getting 2 weeks vacation, that's completely normal. You wouldn't ask for more. You wouldn't dare ask for more because your boss would tell you to go F yourself. Like, you wouldn't do that, and the companies wouldn't give it to you. And then healthcare. We talk about, that's the thing in the U.S. is like a good job gives you good healthcare. And then if you lose that job, you lose your healthcare. Here, you're going to have decent healthcare no matter what. It's not free. It's not like the wonderland that people think it is, where you just, it's all free. But you're also not going to like break your leg and then go bankrupt from getting an ambulance, like stuff like that. yeah, I think that's really made me realize like how brainwashed, if you want to put it like that. Again, I'm not trying to get political, but how brainwashed Americans have been by these large corporations that just use them. They use them, they use the American spirit and culture of working hard against them. And here it's like so much more casual. Work culture is so different. Work-life balance is so much different and considered so much more important. Yeah, and that's something that's really changed. Is like, I don't know if I end up having to go back to the U.S., I don't know how I would deal with an employer telling me like, oh, we're only going to give you 2 weeks time off, and then I have to save for my own retirement. I've become spoiled. I've become spoiled now, and it makes me sad that we can't figure out how to do this in the U.S. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. As always, I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Subscribe, comment, like, do all the things. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one.